Happy Friday, my beloveds. It's going to be a good weekend because I think we've all kind of earned it this week. The reason I say that is because I just want to talk about handling frustrations and anger. Why do I want to talk about it? Because that's what I just feel like I've been dealing with when I'm at work, when it comes to people. I know we all are starting to become a society of anxiety. It's like an anxiety society. Everybody's got anxiety. And it's like the more anxiety we say we have. Now, I say that because a lot of us are not medically diagnosed with anxiety. We just figure, oh, we're having a tough time. I must have anxiety. And then we start telling people, I suffer anxiety. And then we end up manipulating others because we're saying we have anxiety. I have anxiety too. We all have days where we're just like, and we just feel like we're a rubber band about to snap. Don't make that a crutch. You guys are stronger than that. You can be better than that. Even those people who are on medications for anxiety, there's a better way to do it. There's a better way to handle it. I'm going out into left field now. The reason I wanted to talk about it was because I'm the kind of person that gets angry when I have a person on the phone getting snarky, getting rude, getting just impossible to work with. And we have that if you're in a job where you have to deal with people, which is almost like 99% of the jobs out there. You're going to have these days where you're just over people. You're over it. And that sounds like a mean thing to say, but let's be real. You all think it. At the end of the day, sometimes you're just like, forget everybody. I don't want to do this anymore. Or I'm over people. That's the thing I hear a lot here. And I have those days too. And the point of getting into this job that I wanted to get into is because I want to help people. But it's ironic that you get the people that need the most help are the hardest to work with. Why? Why is that? Why is it the families that are so laid back and so easygoing, like, don't worry about it. Oh, I think I know what you're talking about. I'll take care of it. No, you don't have to do that for me. I just want to do more for them because they say that. Then you have the ones that call every 5 minutes with an attitude. Well, I don't understand why this isn't done yet. I was under the impression that my understanding was, it's just like, yes, ma'am. And if you're like me, I grew up with a lot of pride and a lot of arrogance. Well, I don't want to say I grew out of it, because some days I do still have that. And I tend to, in every bad situation with a person, I feel like I want to have the last word. Are you like that? You just want to be the one that gets that last in to that person before you can just like walk away. You know, people do that on Facebook. I hate the phrase, just saying. You know, you're not perfect either, just saying. Well, you're just saying to be just a jerk? Is that why you're just saying it? I hate that phrase. I get that here, you know? And the arrogant person in me, the pride, the cocky little shit that I used to be, and sometimes wants to just come out and say something. And it takes a lot of self-control to sit there when somebody's popping off at you with an attitude, to sit and maintain your bearing. Just maintain it, my brothers and sisters. It's not about winning. It's about your character. How do you handle that situation? Do you handle it like a leader and take the high road? Or do you just give in to your impulses and just barf out the first thing that comes to mind? Have you ever watched somebody lose control and start just saying shit that you're like, wow, that person's out of their mind, because they have no self-control. They're just saying everything and anything they want to say and what they want to feel, and it makes you look like a fool. And I've been there, and I've said things that afterwards I was like, oh my God, I sound like a ranting idiot. You sound like it. You sound like a child when you sit there and, F you, you're the one. We had a lady, here's my example. I'm always going to have an example. We had a lady come in here. She just lost her son, and I get that. Everybody deals with grief differently. But she calls on the phone first, and I told her, I'm missing a piece of information. You wrote on the paperwork you wanted him sent to the cemetery. But do you have the name of the cemetery? I'll look it up for you. She's like, it's in Maryland. Well, sweetheart, I'm sure Maryland has more than one cemetery. And so I said, do you have the name or maybe the town it's in, an address? And her response was just to fly off the handle. Are you effing kidding me? Are you effing kidding me? You guys can't figure this out? How freaking stupid are you? I'm not exaggerating. It was a lot worse, so I'm actually downplaying it. After a few minutes, sometimes we just like to let family vent. But after a few minutes, my response was a little impulsive, but I felt like I needed to kind of bring her back in. And I told her, ma'am, I understand you're suffering a loss, but you have no right to treat people like this. Let's start over. Let's try again. And her response was, F you, bitch. That's it, those 3 words. And I said, okay, she's somewhere else right now. So I told her, I said, ma'am, sounds like you need a moment. Why don't you call back when you have the address, and I'll be ready to help you. And I said, have a better day. And I hung up. I didn't realize she was going to try to respond, and she thought I hung up on her. So she lost her mind after that. 30 minutes later, she showed up here in the office, screaming, ranting. She comes running up to our receptionist, and you are? And okay, so we're all wearing masks when people come in here. And I came out of the back, and I wasn't wearing my mask. My boss doesn't make us wear our masks, but when people come in and they wear the mask, our receptionist puts it on to greet them and make them feel comfortable until we gauge whether or not they need one. And I heard her tell our receptionist, I see your face. I know what you look like. I know what you all look like. And then we walked in and we're like, how does she know what we look like? Our receptionist is wearing a mask. So she knows what her eyes look like. Anyways, off the mask subject, she was just saying things that made no sense whatsoever. And she comes up to me and she goes, and you must be her, Miss Thing or something. It was crazy because the way she was talking with me was so like so mad and so snarky. It was like, is she joking right now? Or is she actually, come to find out, she's actually a high school teacher. I don't know which high school, but whatever. Regardless, I wouldn't have said anything if she was, if I knew. She just kept going on and on. She threatened me. She's like, you better watch your back and da-da-da. And afterwards, I think all of us in here were just kind of like, what just happened? My boss was even like, what did you say? And the other girl that sits across from me told him what I said. It wasn't about what I said. But I'm glad I didn't say anything. Because all I really said when she was threatening me and walking away, she said something to all of us like, we're all pieces of shit. And our receptionist just said, have a nice day. And and there's nothing you can say. We could have said something and made a retort or a comeback and just fought it out. But would we have looked any better than her? I don't think so. Bless my boss's heart. He's a very reserved person and he doesn't argue with anybody. When people are yelling and screaming at him like she was, she came in here yelling and screaming at him about me right in front of me. It's fine. He just sits and he's I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry. I understand. Okay. It's like, there's so many points to her comments that we could have just thrown back at her and put her in her place, but why? And the reason it helps to read the scripture, and I know you've all heard this one before. I know you've heard it. Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath. That's James chapter 1, verse 19. Slow to speak. Sometimes it's better to just hold your tongue and let them unleash their wrath, because in the end it really isn't the character that you want to be portrayed as. Every great leader is judged by their character on how they handle a bad situation at its worst. It brings out the true personality of a person. Do they freak out? Do they get angry? Do they, God damn it, no. Or are they like, well, let's fix the situation. You see a person in a bad situation, and if they handle it well, I don't know about you, but I have a lot more respect. I want them in my zombie apocalypse group, because I don't want somebody that's going to lose their mind. And I don't want to lose my mind. Then we go back to anxiety. You lose your mind, you get all worked up, you get crazy like this lady. Her anxiety must have been out the roof. Her blood pressure was she was red. She was freaking red. Her face was literally red. But anyways, I'm going to wrap this up. But I wanted to read one more thing for you. Or maybe a couple, because there's some really good scriptures about it. I always struggle with the name of this book, Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes, correct me if I'm wrong. You can laugh at me. I don't care. I struggle with a lot of medical terms too, and I end up sounding like a dummy. But Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 9. This is a pretty good one. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry. It comes from here. If you have peace and you have inner peace and calm, it shows in a bad situation. Center yourself. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Remember I was talking about how crazy you look when you freak out? How foolish you end up looking? And even times, not everybody admits it, but I'm pretty sure 90% of us, after we freak out and we're alone afterwards, we think, God, that was a stupid thing to do. You feel kind of stupid because you look crazy. And you look like a person that doesn't have any self-control. You look like a child. Children freak out without self-control because they haven't learned to hone that yet. I love that though. For anger resteth in the bosom of fools. Foolish people, all they want to do is lash out. It gives them something to feel better about because they got nothing else. You have something. You have your dignity, your honor, your integrity. Protect that by conducting yourself like a leader, like somebody who can control the devil's intent for you. And that is the devil's intent, is to make you a complete fool, break you down, lash out in anger at everybody, especially those who don't deserve it. Even those who do deserve it. If you can control that, you're a champion. Okay. One last one. Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Now that goes into the realm of forgiveness, and I want to talk about that sometime, but I don't want to that's a whole nother 45 minutes of me talking. So, let not the sun go down upon your wrath. In other words, don't hold a grudge. Guilty. I'm a total grudge holder, and it's about time for me to get going. But what I wanted to say is, if you can't control your anger enough and you let it become your personality and your character, then that's all you're going to be known for. The idiot that just freaks out easily. And you don't want to be that person. So I'm going to wrap up with you. Maybe I'll give you one more. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. I do like this. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give unto you. Not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. So for those of us that can control our anger, we grow into a peaceful soul, a peaceful person, and it's contagious. Because if you're calm, I see this all the time. Families come in here freaking out because they don't know what to do because somebody just died and it's just so stressful. My funeral director has a calm demeanor. It's going to be okay. It's all right. Encouraging words. Speak life. All right. Don't worry. It happens all the time. Don't say sorry. It's perfectly normal to feel the way you do. Let me help you. Things like that. Peace can be contagious. And if you give it, it may be the best gift you can give somebody, especially in their lowest point. Especially for this lady freaking out. If she would have let us get a word in edgewise, we probably could have worked it out. But anger had taken over her so much so that she was seeing red, and she's blocked out everything, and she was not listening. So when you lose that kind of control, you end up making the worst mistakes of your life. With your children, with your family, relationships, friends, in the car, road rage. I've had that. I just wanted to share this with you guys because it gave me a lot to read upon for scripture, and I'm still going to read more, but I've got a lot of studying to do. I've got work to start, and I just wanted to spread a little more love today. It's Friday. Let's start Friday with a smile. Let's see who we can make smile out there. I know if you're not funny, no big deal. Then if you're not funny, if jokes are not your thing, maybe just a compliment. Find something sincere that you would like somebody to say about yourself and go say it to someone else and see what they come up with back at you. You never know. You might be surprised. You might make a friend. Be someone's blessing. All right. Enjoy the weekend. I'll see if I can get some videos of the chickens. And I love you guys. And thank you for sticking with me this week. Damn. I'm still off the caffeine and lowering the sugar. So I'm going to do it. And I hope you guys love each other. And as always, I hope y'all stay salty. Take care.